America's Got Germans! My name is Annie, and in my today's video we will talk about 10 things Germans, or basically no one, should ever do in the US. It will be a very fun video. Some of them are serious, so you should definitely not do them. But just a little disclaimer, I don't want to offend anyone, and if you listen to something and think, oh, that's me, just laugh about yourself, because we're all sitting in the same boat. I'm German, I did some of the things wrong, and yeah, so I just wanted to say that. And with that being said, let's get started.
Number 1, don't dine in a restaurant and not tip just to make a point. Maybe it's the way things are done in your country, but in the US you should definitely tip 20%, because the base salary of a waiter is that low that they depend on your tip. And if you really have to make a point, I would say maybe 15% would be okayish, but I leave it up to my American friends out there. Maybe you can help me with that. So, but to be honest, I never had to tip less than 20% because the service in the US is just great. Maybe that comes, being friendly and all that with being American, I don't know. So just keep in mind, a 20% tip is a must.
Number 2, don't follow the waiters to make sure your credit card is safe. Restaurants and stores will take your credit card, but you should never follow them. I'm not joking, but actually someone asked that question in a German Facebook group about traveling to the US, and he seriously asked if it's okay to follow them to make sure that it's safe. I know it might feel weird, if your card gets out of sight. And we were a bit nervous when that happened for the first time, because basically everyone can write down your credit card information. But never ever did something happen to me. Never ever did they charge us more than they're supposed to. And I also asked all of my American friends, and it is okay and it is safe, and that's how things are working. So please don't follow the waiters to make sure your credit card is safe.
Number 3, don't drink before you're 21 and don't drink in public. Even though this might sound obvious, I definitely have one point I didn't know before, so wait for it. So a lot of you know that the drinking age in the US is 21, while in Germany you can actually drink when you are 16 at least, or the alcohol that has less than 1.2% of alcohol in it, and the rest is okay to drink when you are 18. Not in the US, and it doesn't make any sense to argue with a bartender that you are coming from a country that's totally fine, because this guy or girl might lose the job or the license for the bar, so they will definitely not serve you any sort of alcohol here, okay? And then it's also important to always bring your ID. So I didn't do it the first time I went downtown, because I was like, well, I don't look underage, so I don't need to bring my ID. But when the bouncer asked me for it, and well, I started laughing because I seriously don't look underage. That's what I think, at least. He did not start to laugh. And this was not a comfortable situation I was in. So if you don't want to be me, better bring your ID everywhere you travel. Okay? And now comes the one thing I didn't know and I had to learn. Can I say that? Yeah, maybe I can. I hope no one is watching. So you're not allowed to travel around with an open container of alcohol of any kind in your car. So even if you're not drinking and no one else is drinking in your car, you're not allowed to bring an open bottle of, let's say, white wine somewhere. It's just not allowed. It's illegal. At least in most of the states, for sure in Massachusetts, that's where I am living. And did I do it in the past? Might I have, bring a bottle of open white wine to a friend's place? Maybe, I just didn't know. So you know now, so better don't do it.
If you are driving and you get pulled over by the police, never ever leave the car and keep your hands visible. You would think that I would know those things. And I mean, I knew, but I will now share a very embarrassing story with you. It happened many years ago when I was an au pair in Seattle. So I got pulled over and I knew what I should do, But I was a bit nervous, and what I did, I was trying to find my driver license. So I was reaching for my backpack, and I did it because I wanted to be prepared. I knew that the police would ask me for the driver license. How German is that? Wanted to be prepared. Anyways, so I was reaching for the backpack, and within a second I had a gun pointed at me. And that was so scary. I can tell you, you don't want to be in that situation. So please keep your hands visible.
So now you're driving and you know what you should, or better, should not do when you get pulled over by a police. But what's also important is that you should never pass a school bus when that one has the stop signs flapped out. That's such a no-go, and you will definitely get a nasty ticket. And it doesn't matter if you're on that side where the bus is driving or stopping, or the other side. Both sides you have to stop, and you wait until all the little guys and girls, exit the bus safely. And once the bus decides to put the stop signs back in, you can also start driving again.
The next one is don't get close to strangers. And I actually had to learn that too. And I don't mean don't get close to stranger because of stranger danger. I mean it because Americans like their personal bubble, I would call it. And to give you an example, I learned that a lot of Americans think it's weird that in a grocery store, Germans are so close to each other. So there's a person and a car, and then the next person and a car, and we are very close. We don't give each other space. So being used to that, I did the same thing. And I sometimes, got the looks, and, the person in front of me somehow tried to tell me, okay, can you move back a little with your car? So now I'm doing it, but I really had to learn it, because for me it was just okay to be, so close to the other person's car. I learned that an arm length distance is, something you could keep in mind. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But just think about it the next time, that it might be Americans need a little bit more space than you are used to. The second thing is, and here, I don't know, I just read about it. So all the guys out there, I need help. It's about the men's room, and that you always should leave an empty urinal between you and the other person. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. And it was also written that you should always, keep your eyes straight forward. But again, obviously I'm not an expert on that. So yeah, share your thoughts.
Hey there, I promise to keep this very short. Just wanted to say, if you like what you see today, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up, or maybe would like to subscribe. That way I know what kind of content you appreciate, and it will of course also help me to grow my channel. Okay, but with that being said, let's go back to the video.
Number 7 is don't stare. And I haven't really noticed, someone told me that he thinks Germans do stare. And once he told me, and we went back to Germany, I realized he's actually right. I think it's especially true for older people, for the older generation. So a quick shout out to my mom. I love you, but please stop staring at people. So I don't know why Germans do it, but I can understand that it can be uncomfortable. Americans for sure will definitely look away sooner if you catch eye with a stranger, and Germans don't necessarily do that all the time. So yeah, a shout out to all the Germans, stop staring. And I was thinking, why do we do that? And what I think is even more weird, is it weirder or more weird, I don't know, is that we don't mind being stared at. I don't know. I never have thought about it, but yeah, maybe you can share your thoughts.
This one is actually serious, and it is about not getting naked. And I don't want to scare off all my American friends. It's not that I'm running around naked all day. I mean it, let's give you an example. So in Germany, it's totally okay for little kids to play outside in your backyard naked, summertime, times you have a little pool, it's so okay. Even if the neighbors can see you. Here, totally not okay. So you should never let your kids play outside naked. It's also not okay when you go to a lake or to a beach to get changed right there. Germans, would do it. They would still try to cover some parts. Some people don't bother, covering it. But it's not okay to do the same thing here. You should definitely change at home, or you see if you can find a fitting or changing room. So yeah, just please keep that in mind if you don't want to get in trouble. I even read a story about someone who had a tattoo on his arm. It was a naked girl, and he had to cover it up before he went to the beach. I'm not sure if that's a true story, but yeah, I can definitely see that being a true story. I don't know. What do you think?
The next one is don't start a conversation about politics. So I was a little bit surprised, and I had to learn it, honestly. As you know, America is deeply divided. And even though Americans are trained in doing chit-chat, they don't necessarily appreciate small talk about politics. And for me, coming from a country where I take pride in, speaking my mind and talking about my thoughts, I really had to learn that. And do I think it's, the right thing not to talk about it? I don't think so, especially nowadays. I think it's even more important than ever to have these conversations. I just want to let you know, if you decide to jump the fence, you should be prepared that an American doesn't appreciate it and that he might change or try to change the topic very soon.
The last one is don't get sick unless you have a great health insurance. Seriously, seeing a doctor can cost you a fortune, and I uploaded a video about my experience with the American health system, and you can go and watch this after you're done watching this video. But a little spoiler, it has never been a pleasant experience to see a doctor, because you will just randomly receive 1 to 5 invoices weeks later. You never know how much your visit will cost. No one can tell you in advance. And but one thing is for sure, it is expensive. So unless you have taken care of and you have a really great health insurance that will cover all of the things, better don't see a doctor. That was the last one for today. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you liked what you saw, please consider hitting that subscribe button or the like button or a comment, whatever you feel comfortable with. I appreciate all of the things. Anyways, thanks again, and I hope I see you soon. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen.